Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, September 7th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, to start us off today, we'll take our lead from the Abbot Orsini, who says they celebrate the Vigil of the Nativity of Our Lady, right? So like the eve of the Nativity of Our Lady, which is tomorrow, our birthday. This vigil, though, was instituted by Pope Gregory II way back in 722. Likewise, the abbot tells us they celebrate Our Lady of Zawrice in Poland, and the Madonna della Consolata, that would be like Our Lady of Consolation, in Turin, Italy. Also in Peru, jumping across the ocean now, they celebrate La Virgen de Zapalanga. It's a Marian devotion, like I said, in Peru. And it seems that particular name is from the town where her image is venerated. It's a little hard to find information, but it seems like this image is a replica of Our Lady of Cocharcas, right? Which is one of the most venerated images in Peru, right? They have a shrine in Cocharcas, and that's actually one of the first Marian shrines in South America. Another important fact today takes us all the way back to the year 1921, when the servant of God Frank Duff founded the Legion of Mary, right? So it was in 1918 that Frank Duff, by means of a friend, discovered the Treatise of True Devotion to Mary by Saint Louis de Montfort, right? In that book, Frank Duff was able to know better and to grow in his devotion to the living and working presence of Christ, of Mary in the mystery of Christ and of the Church. For many years, Frank Duff spoke with his friends about this happy Marian discovery, and he spoke particularly to the members of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, of which he was a very active member. So much so that on September 7th, 1921, he gathered around Mary, the Queen of the Apostles, with a group of women who were desirous of spreading their apostolate in the spirit of true devotion to Mary as taught by Montfort. And hence, this day, September 7th is regarded as the birthday of the Legion of Mary. And so, so from that day until his death, which was November 7th, 1980, Duff personally guided the expansion of the Legion all the world, right? So again, it was originally founded in Dublin, Ireland, September 7th, 1921, as an organization for women. In 1929, the Legion opened to men, and in 1931, it came to the U.S. We're told that there are now over 3 million members worldwide, right? And the Legion itself is organized like the Roman army, right? So members belong to a local presidium or presidia, which meets weekly for prayers and planning. And then there's multiple administrative levels between them and the concilium in Dublin, right? Each member promises to say daily prayers, attend weekly meetings, and perform 2 hours of service per week. Speaking to the Italian legionaries on October 30th, 1982, Pope St. John Paul II said, "Yours is an eminently Marian spirituality, not only because the Legion glories in carrying Mary's name as its unfurled banner, but above all because it bases its method of spirituality and apostolate on the dynamic principle of union with Mary, on the truth of the intimate participation of the Virgin Mary in the plan of salvation. In other words, you intend to render your service to every person, who is the image of Christ, with the spirit and the solicitude of Mary." It's a very beautiful thought from the late pontiff. Likewise, today, they also celebrate Santa Maria Incoronata, the crowned Virgin Mary in Ancona La Marche in Italy. So this is celebrated today because of an apparition and a healing which took place on this day in 1470. Likewise, locally, nearby us, Madonna del Boden in Ornavasso in Viterbo, Lazio in Italy. This recalls a miracle that took place in 1528. And lastly, they celebrate La Madonna della Purita, like Our Lady of Purity, in Naples, Italy. The image was crowned, this painting was crowned, on this day in 1724. And that's what we're celebrating today in the Marian world on September 7th. For today's reading from True Devotion to Mary by Saint Louis de Montfort, we're going to start with the introduction. This is literally just some introductory we can say aphorisms that he has at the beginning of the book. Just sort of things to keep in mind. Again, this is Louis de Montfort. General truths that we should always recall. So here we're going to read the first 5, and then we'll continue reading them in the next few days. Introduction. Point 1. It is by the Most Holy Virgin Mary that Jesus has come into the world, and it is also by her that he has to reign in the world. 2. Mary has been singularly hidden during her life. It is on this account that the Holy Ghost and the Church call her Alma Mater, Mother secret and hidden. Her humility was so profound that she had no propensity on earth more powerful or more unintermitting than that of hiding herself, even from herself, as well as from every other creature, so as to be known to God only. 3. He heard her prayers to him, when she begged to be hidden, to be humbled, and to be treated in all respects poor and of no account. He took pleasure in hiding her from all human creatures in her conception, in her birth, in her life, and in her resurrection and assumption. Her parents even did not know her, and the angels often asked of each other, Qui est ista? Who is that? Because the Most High either hid her from them, or if he revealed anything of her to them, it was nothing compared to what he kept undisclosed. 4. God the Father consented that Mary should do no miracle, at least no public one, during her life, although he had given her the power. God the Son consented that she should hardly ever speak, though he had communicated his wisdom to her. God the Holy Ghost, though she was his faithful spouse, consented that his apostles and evangelists should speak but very little of her, and no more than was necessary to make Jesus Christ known. 5. Mary is the excellent masterpiece of the Most High, of which he has reserved to himself both the knowledge and the possession. Mary is the admirable mother of the Son, who took pleasure in humbling and concealing her during her life, in order to favor her humility, calling her by the name of woman, Mulia, as if she was a stranger, although in his heart he esteemed and loved her above all angels and all men. Mary is the sealed fountain and the faithful spouse of the Holy Ghost, to whom he alone has entrance. Mary is the sanctuary and the repose of the Holy Trinity, where God dwells more magnificently and more divinely than in any other place in the universe, without excepting his dwelling between the cherubim and seraphim. Neither is it allowed to any creature, no matter how pure, to enter into that sanctuary without a great and special privilege.
Hello, and we hope that you enjoyed listening to our Marian podcast. In the spirit of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, we say to you that there is no greater delight than to spread the devotion of Our Lady. We hope you share these sentiments and encourage you greatly to share with a loved one. Know that you are always in our prayers, and we ask that you keep us in yours. God bless.